everyone, this is Bonnie from Backwards Story, and today I have a really fun comparison video for you. We are comparing the UK and the US editions of the Hazelwood by Melissa Albert and seeing how they compare. That way, if you didn't want to sit through like my 25-minute unboxing video comparing Fairy Loot and Owlcrate, which also had this comparison in it, you can just see the comparison now and it will be much shorter and sweeter. And I also have the tarot cards that were given out as a pre-order from Flatiron for everyone who pre-ordered the book in the United States, as well as the candle that came in the Fairy Loot with the Hazelwood in February, featuring the hinterlands. So let's take a look at how these two books stack up with one another and take a look at the really cool tarot cards that came with the pre-order. Okay, we're going to start with the tarot cards because I have a feeling that's what you want to see the most. These were a gift if you pre-ordered the Hazelwood and sent in a copy of your pre-order to Flatiron from Macmillan. It was a present from them for everyone who pre-ordered the book. So always take a look at the pre-orders that are coming out from various publishers and authors. Sometimes you get some really cool swag. So I really like these and I can't wait to show them off to you. Every tarot card set came with this really nice thank you card. It's just a piece of paper that says thank you for the pre-order, and it has a picture of the framework used on the cover around it, so you could color it if you wanted to and keep it. And then they also sent us tarot cards. Every tarot card has a quote on one side and then a picture on the back. So the first one says, "When Alice was born, her eyes were black from end to end." And here is the picture. Alice 3 times. She was like a blade wrapped in a bouquet of orchids. I hope to God whoever took her made the mistake of underestimating her. Ella. The whole wide world was ahead of her, death's fingers combing through it like wind. Look at those death fingers. Isla waits. She pricked her parents' heels 3 times and washed a stone in the blood. There's the blood. Jenny and the Night Women. I'd let myself drift too close to the dark continent at the core of me, a lawless place I tried never to visit. Alice. Cracked mirror. Look at the artwork on his arm. The expression on her face was worse than anything. It was a kind of selfish ecstasy. Twice killed Catherine. Love the name. My stepsister was a sexy Zoftig motor mouth who made me feel like an awkward breadstick. Very funny. Maybe Finch wasn't trying to be the sidekick in my story. Maybe he was trying to start one of his own. This is the sideways card. Finch, or it could be this direction with him falling. Depends on the way you look at it. He loved her before he came close enough to hear the ticking of her clockwork heart. She's holding the heart. And last but not least, the empty house was lit like a lantern. The bride could hear singing through the floor. This is probably my favorite card in terms of imagery. It's gorgeous, the Sea Cellar. And if you haven't read the books, I feel like the cards just make you want to read it even more because they pull out some really interesting tidbits. And they just make you want to know what the book is about. I actually haven't read it, even though I have an ARC. I'm a really bad person. I meant to read it in the last month. I just haven't got into it yet, and now it's out, but now I have finished copies I can read. So, speaking of, it is time to find out who would win the battle of best version of the Hazelwood, the UK or the US. Now, disclaimer, both of these are exclusive versions you cannot pick up at the store. The UK cover is here on the left, and it is from the February 2018 Fairy Loot. The difference with it and the original edition is that the original edition is a paperback, and the exclusive is a hardcover. So the cover is actually exactly the same as what you would get if you picked up the paperback. The one on the right, however, this is the US edition, and the cover is different. This is the Owlcrate February 2018 exclusive edition, and it is gold. The original edition looks like this. Now, this is an advanced reader copy. It's an ARC, so some of the artwork may be slightly different in the finished copy, but it's going to give you a really good idea of what it looked like. The camera also is kind of, things don't look quite as silver or white in the picture on the camera as they do in person, but it's still going to give you a pretty good idea of the difference in how they look in terms of cover. Now that we have the disclaimer out of the way, here are the two editions and how they stack up to one another. Here are your spines. The US edition is from Flatiron Books, which is an imprint of Macmillan, and the UK edition is from Penguin Random House UK. Here are your back covers. And you'll notice that the UK edition's a little taller. And yet they are both 358 pages, so we'll take a look at how the type is set differently in the UK version versus the US edition, since the one book is taller, and yet they are the same page count. Here are some of your blurbs. You have Karen McManus, who wrote One of Us is Lying, Melinda Salisbury, who wrote The Sin Eater's Daughter, Jennifer Naveen, who wrote All the Bright Places, Kristen Kishore, who wrote the Graceling Realm series, as well as Jane Unlimited, Stephanie Garber, who wrote Caraval, Cami Garcia, who wrote the Beautiful Creatures series, Shannon McGuire, who wrote Every Hearted Doorway. There are so many big names on here. The US edition also has Kirkus and Booklist and the School Library Journal, so you get a lot of advanced praise about this book that has had it highly buzzed. It's one of the biggest debuts to break out in 2018, and I'm really eager to read it and really sad I haven't had a chance to up until now. So now we're going to get these pretty books naked. Take a peek at the tattoos they're keeping hidden from us. Flatiron logo there. And that is possibly the UK logo. Oh, now this is interesting. Look at the spines lining up. The UK edition doesn't have anything on the spine because it's a paperback edition, and this is exclusive for Fairy Loot, so they didn't do anything to the spine. That's interesting. Here are your flaps. The one on the left is the UK edition, and the one on the right is the US edition. And now I'm going to look at each book individually so that they don't get destroyed trying to keep one open while my hand is on the other. I can't really do it with one hand and a camera. So we're going to start with the UK edition. Alright, so we open it up, and the first thing we have is a autographed page inserted exclusively for Fairy Loot. And here's your title page. And your other title page, some more blurbs, dedication, and here we go. So, chapter 1 looks like this, and the page at the bottom looks like that. This is your typeset. As we go through the book, you will see that the various chapter headings all... Now, of course, I'm not landing on any of them. All of the chapter headings are exactly the same, with the bird on top of the doorway, and it's very pretty looking. And now the US edition, when we open it up, there is the signed book plate, and I actually like the darkness of it. It makes it feel like the title page just fits right in, and it's a part of the book, and it wasn't just inserted as a tip-in page. Your title page. And your second title page, and it looks like the cover of the book. Dedication. And look, the first chapter looks very different from the way it looked in the UK edition. And it says 1. And here's how it looks at the bottom of the page. Your typesetting. And when we go from chapter to chapter, every single chapter has a different picture at the top. So as we're going through it, we get to be surprised with the various pictures that come up and how they tie into the story. So it's not the same picture at the top of every page, and it has it so that I would be looking forward to what the next picture is going to be each time I get to a new chapter. It's like an extra treat. So I am really interested to hear which version you like the best. So let me know in the comments or on social media. Do you like the UK edition or do you like the US edition? I personally think I like the US edition a little better, if only because every chapter has its own unique image heading, but I do like them both, and I can't wait to hear which ones you like the best. That's all from me today, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye!